What's going on, guys? Corey from Yota X. We have our 5th gen 4Runner behind me, and in front of me we have our Pro style grill. We're going to go ahead and show you all the different options that you can get with this, and then we're going to go ahead and show you how to install it. So we have everything laid out here on the table. We have our upper section of the grill, our mid section, which is where your letters are going to be going if you did get letters. But before we get into how to install the letters, we're going to go over the different options of light colors and letter colors. So when it comes to Raptor lights, we have 4 different options. We have smoked lens with white LEDs. We have clear lens with white LEDs, smoked lens with amber LEDs, and amber lens with amber LEDs. So each kit is going to get 4 lights, the harness, and the fuse jumper to put it into your fuse box. As far as letter options go, you can go with no letters, you can go with a clean, simple look, or you can go with the original silver, or you can go with black, or we have our brand new topography to just give it a different look. With all that being said, we're going to go ahead and show you how to install the Raptor lights into the upper section of the grill. And then after that, we're going to show you how to install the letters onto the mid section. If you did not get Raptor lights or you did not get letters, you can go ahead and skip both of those sections and just jump to the install. So let's start off the assembly with putting some Raptor lights in the upper portion of the grill. We have a set of smoked amber ones here. So I'm going to show you where to put them and how to put them in. So first things first, you can see some of these diamond shapes are bigger than the other ones. You're going to be putting the lights in the smaller diamond shape. So the best place to put it would be right here in these 4 locations towards the top. So we're going to go ahead, and this doesn't really fit in there quite well. You have to give it some pressure and twist the plug at the same time, and it will fit through. And then looking at the Raptor light, you have 2 tabs. One tab sits back farther than the other one. The one that sits back farther, you're going to be putting to the top of the grill. And then you can go ahead and snap those in place. So go ahead and put the plug into that hole, give it a little twist, it'll pop in. And then that tab that is on the circular section of the light is going to go up. Go ahead and snap it in place. Raptor lights are now installed. When you're installing them, just make sure to take your time. Press them in as straight as you can so you don't have the chance of breaking any tabs and stuff like that. But with that, we're going to go ahead now and show you how to get the letters installed on the midsection. We got the midsection here. We're going to go ahead and show you how to drill the holes. To do that, we have a drill with a 1/8 inch drill bit, and we have a small countersink tool. If you don't have one of these, you can just use a bigger drill bit, and I'm just going to be using this to clean up the edges on the front side after I drill through. We have the screws that come with your letters, and then you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver to screw all of those in. So looking at the back side of the grill, you can see all of the marks there that we're going to be drilling. Everything's laid out for you to match up perfectly with your letters. So we're going to go ahead and drill all of those spots out. When you're drilling it, the bit should center itself pretty well, and it's plastic, so it's fairly easy to drill into. So go ahead and drill all these out. So I have the bubble wrap down on the table that the grill came in, so that when I'm laying this down, I'm not going to scratch the surface of the face. And once you drill it, make sure to get all of these plastic bits off so that you don't scratch it with those. Now I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all of the burrs on the front side with that countersink. And like I said, if you don't have one of these, you can just use a little bit bigger of a drill bit and just turn it with your fingers, and it'll clean up all of those rough edges. Holes are all drilled. We're going to go ahead now and just put all of the screws in from the back side, and then we can go ahead and install our letters. Installing the screws first just makes for an easier install. So go ahead and just turn all of them in until they're bottomed out. Putting the screws in first is just going to make it easier to get all of the posts on the letters lined up and screwed in properly. Screwing the letters on is pretty self-explanatory. Now that you put all the screws in, you know where everything needs to go. And you can see on the back side of the letter where the posts are, where the screws are going to be going into. The only letter that could give some confusion is the O, and I'm going to show you an easy way to know which way it's supposed to go. So looking at the O, you can see on this outer rim from right here to right here in this section, it looks different than the rest of it. This is going to be the bottom of your O. So let's go ahead and start installing the letters. Line up your letter with your screws and start tightening them. Don't tighten one screw all the way and then tighten the other one. Go back and forth, do them evenly. This way you know it's not going to possibly crack or strip out, and you'll get it to sit nice and flat on the grill. Again, these are plastic, so you don't want to go crazy. You could easily strip these out, so just take your time. You have to get a good sense of how tight you want to make it. Obviously, just make sure that the letter is nice and flush against the grill, and don't over tighten them. So most aftermarket grills, the letters are double-sided taped, where these are screwed on. So over time, with weather, dirt, all that stuff, you don't have to worry about your letters just falling off. These should be on for good, and it's just a nice security. Go ahead and continue that process with the rest of the letters, and then we'll be ready to go ahead and get this installed on the 4Runner. So we got our new grill all prepped and ready to go. Raptor lights are in, letters are installed. Now we're going to go ahead and take out the OEM grill. And to do that, you're going to need a ratchet and a 10mm socket. And we have a flathead for some of the clips. So let's go ahead and get into that. First thing we're going to do is take this upper shroud off. So you're going to have a bunch of push clips holding this down. So just go around, push all of the centers down, and you can go ahead and pull the clips out. So we got that shroud removed. You're going to have two clips under here holding the upper portion of the grill to the headlight, and then you're going to have a 10mm bolt here in the center. So go ahead, take the flathead, pop the clips up, go ahead and pull those out. And then we'll go ahead and take out this 10mm bolt here. So now we have the bolt and those two clips out. The upper section of the grill is ready to come out. You're gonna have some clips in here on both sides, and also on the lower section of the emblem area, there's gonna be some clips. Ours has been off and on multiple times, so yours might be a little bit more difficult, but I would just hold it here, pull out either side like so, and then you're going to have two clips in the middle. You might just have to grab it firmly and pull it straight towards you, just like that. You can see there's two clips here that go into the bumper. You can see there is also 4 tabs here along the top. You might have to, from the back side, depress these clips in order to get your grill out, depending on how tight of a fit it is. We've got the upper portion of the grill here on the table alongside our brand new upper section. So we're gonna have to take off the white part here. We're gonna be transferring that over to the new grill. So along the top portion of your grill, you're going to have 10 screws holding this together. 4 screws are going to be holding this bracket on, so go ahead and take all of those out. Once all the 10 screws are out, you're going to have 4 clips along the perimeter as well. We're going to go ahead and get those undone. So you kind of have to do both clips on either side at the same time to free it up. So go ahead and do those 2, and then these 2, and then the 2 halves will come apart. Now we can go ahead and take that, transfer it over to our new grill, snap the clips in place, and then we can go ahead and reinstall all of our screws. The only difference is this bracket here, you're only going to be able to install 2 of the screws on the 20 to 23 models. So we're going to be installing the midsection before we install the upper section with the Raptor lights. We're going to be installing this with no letters installed. And then on the back side, you can see we have our double-sided tape on the front and on the top. So when we go to install this, we're going to peel off the backing for the double-sided tape on the front, but the one that goes on the top, we're only going to peel it back maybe 2 inches on either end, and then I'll show you how to install it from there. So as you can see, I'm just going to peel this back maybe 2 inches, and I'm going to fold it over the front side so that it's accessible when the grill is installed. So before we install that, you want to make sure to just clean this really well. We're going to have some adhesion promoter packets in the kit. Go ahead and put that on here, and that's just going to assure that the double-sided tape is going to bond as good as it can to your bumper. Now we're ready to install this onto the bumper. You're going to be starting from the bottom, and you're going to kind of scoop it up onto the bumper. You want to try to make sure that it is centered on the bumper as best as you can as well. Hold on to these tabs for your double-sided tape so they don't fall back behind the grill, and then you'll have to rip it back off to get to it. So we're going to go ahead, start with it down like this, push it in as much as you can. And then once you have it in place where you like it, you can go ahead and take your tape, and pull it, and then push down the top. Middle section is on. Now we can go ahead and take our top section. We can put that back in place. Just make sure the Raptor lights are out of the way. Go ahead and line that up. Snap it back in place. And we can go ahead and put in our clips and that 10mm bolt in the center. So if you didn't order Raptor lights at this point, you're finished. You can go ahead and put on your shroud and you're good to go. But if you did get Raptor lights, we're going to go ahead and get into how to wire those. So our 4Runner is a 2022 model. I'm pretty sure in the 14 to 19 models, you can run it to this fuse box here, but the way that they have it laid out in the 20 to 23 models, where you want to put it is on this section here, which once you put the fuse jumper in there, you can no longer fit the lid. So what we're going to be doing is running the wiring to the inside of the vehicle, and we're going to be tapping it into the fuse box down below the dashboard. So if you have a 14 to 19 model, what you want to be looking for is the 10 amp INJ fuse location. If for some reason you can't fit the lid on with where it is located in your fuse box, then we're going to be looking for a 10 amp INJ fuse on the interior. I just want to note there is different ways that you can go about wiring these in. The 10 amp INJ fuse location is going to give the Raptor lights power when the ignition is on. So whether your headlights are on, whether they're off, your Raptor lights are always going to be on if the key is on. You can wire them into your running lights if you want, or you can wire them into your low beams or to a switch, however you want to do it, but we're going to be doing it this way. It's going to be the easiest way to show you how to get it done. So right here we have the harness for the Raptor lights. Obviously you got 4 plugs that are going to be going to each of your Raptor lights, and then we have a power and ground. So we're going to be running this into the interior, and that's going to be going over there. We're going to route this down below and behind the headlight, back behind the fuse box, and then through the firewall. And there's a grommet there. We're going to be pulling that out. So just go ahead and route this however you want, but I'm going to try and tuck it away nicely so you don't see wires hanging out all over the place. Back behind the battery, back behind the fuse box. Go ahead and just plug all your lights in so you know how much slack you need to give yourself. Not that you pull too much into the cabin and you don't have enough out here to reach all the plugs. And then we'll take some zip ties, we'll zip tie all of this together and zip it somewhere out of the way so it's not dangling. So you can see back there on the firewall, there's a little rubber plug. We're going to go ahead and pull that out, and that's where we're going to be running the wiring through. So we include a rubber grommet with our kit. You can go ahead and put the wiring through that, and then once you have this ran through, you can put this into the firewall. So we're going to go ahead and feed the wiring through that hole. This might be a little difficult because you do have padding and stuff on the interior. You just feed it through as much as you can, and then when you go inside, hopefully you see it sticking out. You might have to try a few times to get it to a point where you can actually grab it and pull it in the rest of the way. It might be best to have a second person, one pushing the wire through and one inside looking for it. You can see here where the wire should be coming out. And once it's visible, have somebody grab it and pull it through. So I was able to see the wire, and then I took a pair of tiny needle nose, I grabbed it and pulled it out, and now I can go ahead and pull this through as much as I need. Obviously you don't want to pull on it too hard and cut it or rip it because there's metal pieces. That should be enough. So first of all, apologies for the horrible angle, but this is not an easy shot to get. But you can see we have our wiring now coming through, and what I'm going to do is tuck it behind the e-brake cable here just so it's out of our way. Go ahead and do that. Pull that through. Now I'm going to take the fuse jumper and I'm going to plug that in like so, cover up the connection. Now we can go ahead and put this into our fuse box, and then our ground I'm going to put behind the 10mm bolt right here for the fuse box. So here's the fuse box cover for the interior fuse box, and we're going to be going into the 10 amp IGN for ignition. Now you can pretty much wire these in however you would like, but you just want to make sure that they only have power when ignition is on. So something like taillights or horn, all of those have power all the time. So even if your key is off, you hit your brake pedal, your brake lights come on, you hit the horn comes on. You don't want to be wiring this into that, because then your Raptor lights would be on all the time. All right, so looking at the fuse box, on the left side at the top, we're going to be going right here in this position. You can either go with this 10 amp fuse or this one. This is ignition 1 and this is ignition number 2. So either one of these you can use. So go ahead and pull out that fuse, and then we'll go ahead and replace it with our fuse jumper like that. And then just get these wires, zip tie them out of the way so you don't get in the path of your e-brake cable. And we'll go ahead and put this ground cable on. Go ahead and take this out. Might be able to just loosen it up a little bit. And we'll take our ground, put it back behind so that it gets smushed against the metal. Tighten this back up. All right. So we're finished down there. Now that you have that fuse jumper in that fuse box, the cover will not fit, so you can just go ahead and put this in the glove box or whatever so you have it. And if you ever need to check anything, you still have the location. So now we can go ahead and test the Raptor lights, make sure everything works properly. So if I turn the key on, the Raptor light should come on. Yeah. Once for accessory, 2 times for ignition. Now. All right, so Raptor lights should be working. You can see smoked amber lights are all working. We're good to go there. Now we can just go ahead and zip tie these wires up and out of our way, put our shroud back on with all of our clips, and we're done. All right guys, there you have it, the Yota X Pro Grill installed on the 5th Gen 4Runner. We showed you how to install the grill, how to install your letters, and how to install the lights, as well as how to wire them. If you have any questions about any of the steps, ask us down below in the comments. If this video was helpful, make sure to give it a like and hit that subscribe button. If you want to grab one of these grills for your 5th Gen 4Runner, click the link in the description or head over to yotaexpedition.com and grab one today for yours.